Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J-Dawg.
Mike, it is good to see you. We literally survived week 2. That was a wild NFL Sunday.
It was a while. I got a text in a group thread saying it was not a fun Sunday, like there's boring games. So I said it was pretty exciting, full slate of games, even with only 3 games in the afternoon, which I did not really.
Well, that's the issue. For you guys in California, your prime time is 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern time. The NFL wants you watching one single game with Tom Brady at that time. Of course, it was a Super Bowl rematch from recently. Of course, it's a big game. We want all the action. We want the constant dopamine hits, the early window it gives us.
Keep me awake.
We want that all day. I had to go outside and smoke a cigarette after the early window, Mike, because this was a crazy window. And then the come down was like so severe. I'm watching Jalen Hurts push his way through in the marquee game. I'm like, where's a good game in the second window? So it really is not even, and that's a problem.
Well, it got good in the second window. I mean, all right, let's start. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with
I want to start with Russell freaking Wilson. Mike, what happened yesterday? I have been fading Russell Wilson on the Survivor train. Week 1, Commanders against Giants. Boom, easy, stress-free victory. Week 2, the Cowboys at home, extra time to prepare. Russ is still there, but Jackson Dart's hanging over him. Russell Wilson went legendary mode. Career high, 450 passing yards. This man had years and years of highlights, yet it was his best game ever. I thought he broke my heart through the whole second half. It turns out Russ broke his own heart with that late interception. It made no sense to throw the late pick, and despite all the good things he did, that one throw at the end cost him everything, and the Cowboys literally survived.
Well, that was you can tell everybody because when we sent out our picks, we had like options of picks. You went with Dallas that week, so it was a prime game
true.
you were focused on. I was watching it. I mean, right off the bat, I said, J-Dawg, Russ is slinging the ball there. He's looking pretty good. He looks like he's back. It was a great game. I will say a lot of penalties throughout all the games yesterday that like I felt like changed the course of a lot of games. Like New York had what was that offensive lineman just got 4 penalties. I don't know if you saw the video.
And they benched him. Yeah, they benched him.
He was like literally just swatting people's faces. Like, dude, what are you doing?
I told you the Giants O-line wouldn't hold up. I didn't know they were going to bench a dude 4 plays or 4 drives into the game. The Giants really, both teams in that game had so many penalties, Mike. It makes it somewhat unwatchable, but it also made it like crazier in the end because of the shifts were so wild.
And we still don't know who is good and who is bad. We're trying to line it up. You know, as weeks go on, you're like, oh, are you actually a good team? Are you actually a bad team?
Wait, the Cowboys are bad. We know that, right?
Well, I think the Cowboys are definitely bad because they barely beat New York, but I don't know in what position because I don't know if Washington's that good because we didn't talk since the Washington game in Green Bay.
Yeah.
They did not look good that night either.
Yeah.
So I don't know where Washington is, but they're not looking great.
I mean, Green Bay might make everyone look bad. The way that they're on a run right now, it's like they were a good team to start. And I feel like the Micah trade obviously helped their defense, Mike. The Micah trade helped their swagger and their confidence because those boys come out balling and covering lines. And those are things that LaFleur and the Packers don't do in September. They tend to heat up late in the year, November, December, the frozen tundra. For them to look this good in September, look out for a team that might be going like 17-1.
Yeah, but when you watch that game, a lot of these games with Green Bay seemed to start out slow. Like they weren't scoring a lot of points. It seems like after the half, they came in, they started scoring some more points. It just seemed to like, all right, are they trying to figure it out? What's going on here? Because Washington couldn't even move the ball. They couldn't score. And again, I mean, I don't want to jump around, but also last night's Sunday night game with Falcons in Minnesota was like a snooze fest. And I turned on the game.
That was crazy. Why was that? Yeah, the Emmys were more watchable. Any HBO show is more watchable. Why did the NFL put that matchup of McCarthy-Penix on Sunday Night Football Week 2?
I thought they thought JJ was supposed to be the guy. And I think we got to go back to our summer edition podcast because I felt like we talked about a lot of this. The hype, JJ's not going to be good. Like all these rookies, like let's not hype them up too much. I know JJ's technically not a rookie, but this is his first season. I'm just seeing like a lot of narratives crumble because a lot of people were really hyped up. I felt like everybody was on Minnesota. Like Justin Jefferson, did he get number 3 overall in most fantasy leagues?
Yeah. It's not looking good for that offense. But maybe an imaginary injury will help the Minnesota Vikings because breaking news today, Mike, JJ McCarthy is out for 2 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain. He looked fine at the end of the game last night. A lot of people are speculating that Kevin O'Connell watched the tape this morning and said, JJ, you have a high ankle sprain. You're out for a few weeks. Because to go to Carson Wentz, that's like a really bad situation. That man is older than us.
And it's going to be a terrible, it's not a Sunday night game, right? It's Cincinnati with Browning and Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer.
I don't know
He
why I
might be
thought of
better.
him.
I don't know. They could
He
use
might
him.
be better. Carson Wentz. But I don't
Yeah.
know who's going to watch that game. It's just like a crazy like place we're in when we're already like, oh my God, these games are going to be so bad. Like injuries are already happening. Joe Burrow got turf toe, which I had no idea about. A lot of NFL doctors on Instagram and TikTok now describing what turf toe is. Do you want me to describe it to you? Do you know what it
Yeah,
is?
but by the way, you're so right about the Instagram and TikTok doctors. Like
Yeah,
3 years ago,
all
you
over
had
the
to
place.
wait for Adam Schefter report the
Yeah.
next morning to figure out what happened. Now, you know exactly what happened like before the game that they're playing is over, before the MRI is read, like Dr. Cho and all these guys on X and TikTok have it. So tell us, what is turf toe? Because apparently it's worse in a sense.
Turf toe is like if this was your big toe right here, it's basically a ligament getting pulled back behind your toe bone, your big toe. And I guess it's extremely painful because it's been moved back. I don't know how that even happens. Obviously, if you're pushing a lot, I guess I could see your like ligament being almost like stretched and torn up into your toe. I always thought it was like like a pussy injury because I feel like a lot of guys play with it. You hear turf toe and you're like, you can play through turf toe. You're okay.
Yeah.
It's not
It
like an
sounds like a
ACL.
stub toe,
Yeah.
like on
Yeah.
artificial turf, which maybe it was back then. The visual that you just gave us, and for only listeners, they won't see what you just did, but with your hand and the foot and the ligament, it looks painful. You'll understand why Joe is in so much pain. He's out 3 months at least. The Bengals, I don't think they'll be around 3 months from now when Joe
No,
returns. They'll be
I don't think
6-9 or
so.
something, just like last year.
Also, did you know Cincinnati has no emergency cart for people? They have to walk. They're the only stadium where you have to walk out injured players to the back of the
How is that a thing?
medical.
There's like everyone has a cart. There must be golf carts for VIP people, but there's no carts for the VIP quarterback. And Mike, I was actually thinking about this in real time. He's hobbling off the field, and at one point, he doesn't have his arm around a trainer, and he's just like walking kind of on his own, and he has one arm on the other trainer, but only on one side. And I'm thinking sometimes guys will like almost tear their Achilles, and then walking to the locker room, they completely tear it. The idea that the Bengals are worth so much as an organization, and the quarterback means so much to them, and the way that he gets off the field after a terrible injury is hobbling with his arm on two men. It's like, can't we do better? So to your point about the cart, that's a ridiculous stat. They need one.
Crazy. I want to talk about my survivor pick, which was the afternoon game. It was Cardinals Panthers.
Yours wasn't sweat free either, Mike.
At the beginning, it felt sweat free. It said, "Oh, Cardinals, they got like an immediate touchdown right away from defense. It was great
Right
They were
away.
up.
Before the Cowboys-Giants game was over, I was still sweating mine, and Mike
Yeah.
had the Cardinals and was like, good. Except it didn't end up so good.
No, it did not end up good. It was not a fun game. Bryce all of a sudden decided to wake up. And that's what's scary about the Panthers. I feel like they always do this at the end of games. Bryce all of a sudden is like, we're going to fucking lose anyways. I might as well. That's the mindset he needs to go in to the games, not when there's a quarter left and my survivor pick is on the line. He needs to do that at the beginning so we know not to bet this team. But they did survive the game, and it was a very scary game because a lot of penalties were happening. And I think that's what saved some teams. Like the Dallas game, that saved the team because it went into overtime. And this game as well, I felt like a lot of penalties were happening. And they ended up getting the ball back and hopefully, winding out the clock. But still, it was ended up 22-27 Cardinals, which is a lot closer than I wanted it to be.
Even watching the game, it didn't feel like it was going to be that close. But sure enough, they get the onside kick, and Bryce Young has a chance at the end of the game. And the Cardinals have done this to people 2 weeks in a row. They were heavily picked in week 1 against the Saints when Spencer Rattler's throwing into the end zone to win the game. And now a similar story with Bryce Young and the Cardinals. Bryce Young clearly has mental issues, Mike, because he plays better when the pressure's off. And so, like you said, he needs to be told the pressure's off early on. The pressure was off last year when Andy Dalton got in the car crash, and they handed him the keys and he played great. The pressure's off when they're down 14-0 in the first half on the road. Exactly. And so if the guy can just have a little mental reset, there's enough sports psychologists out there that can figure this out. Tell him that it doesn't matter right away. The pressure's off. Tell him you're going to lose no matter what. And the guy might be really decent if he gets the right mental coaching.
Jeremy, can I tell you this? I don't think there's enough mental coaching to coach somebody out of not caring or caring. I feel like it's like, telling somebody like, don't be afraid of spiders. Like they're always going to be a little bit afraid of spiders, always be in the back of their head, like a
Who doesn't
subconscious.
care?
Who doesn't care?
Yeah.
About spiders or like in general? Like what?
In general.
People care, but you got to like.
Are you saying Bryce Young cannot be saved?
Correct. Bryce Young cannot be saved. And I even made a bet with our friend Ingle, like saying Bryce will be better than Caleb. Or I said this. I said Caleb's going to be benched sooner than Bryce would be. And I think that might be true because I don't think Carolina has anybody else. I think in Chicago, I think they want the guy that he just signed the $10 million contract to. I forgot his name, but
Badgent. They like Badgent. His
I
dad
liked him
was
too last
homeless.
year.
They grew up in the streets, and now he got a big deal. He was crying about his contract. Mike, what's going on with the Bears? We haven't talked much about Caleb Williams.
Fuck
A hit
Bears.
piece came out on Caleb. A hit piece came out since our last show, and it really attacked his lack of mental acuity.
Talking about this a
his
lot.
ability to read a defense. It also talked about he has the same nail tech as Angel Reese. Angel Reese actually referred him to the same nail tech. They do go together. Current state of Caleb Williams. Because you, sir, you were early adopter, as you often are, and you were out on this man years ago before he ever entered the NFL.
I was out on him before he even played his first practice snap for the Chicago Bears. I don't care who your offensive coordinator, your coach, anybody who's over there. You cannot fix a problem child. And I think we're seeing that around the league. I don't know if you saw, I keep jumping around, but Trevor Lawrence waving off the head coach as well, fuck off, I got this.
Yeah. Jags blew that game. That was bad.
But I do feel like Chicago likes these kind of quarterbacks because this is the temperament they want, but he does not have the ability to hone it in. You can see there's greatness in there. Like you can see, he's throwing the ball, but I don't know if it was the last game. What was the first game they played?
That Monday Night Football game when they blew it to McCarthy.
There were wide open players that he was throwing the ball to.
DJ Moore,
sailing over. Not good. And what we found out, Minnesota, not a great team. And we're finding out these teams are not as good. And I think Chicago Bears, they could lose all their games. That's what I'm saying right now. They could go.
Whoa, all of them?
All of them. They're so bad. Their
Mike,
defense
we're
is
gonna
good.
get to best bets, and I might be taking the Bears this week. So I don't like
Jeremy,
to hear that
all right.
about you. We're gonna get to best bets. We're gonna get there. But
we can get there. I just want to talk about one more thing. I want to talk about Indiana Jones. That is his new nickname. Danny Dimes.
I never heard that. It's the first time hearing this.
Indiana Jones is my
I love
man.
it.
I am loving the Colts right now. I love what's going on there. They're going to be in my best bets again this week. I bet them last week, winning me money. Bet again this week. Everybody has a lot of doubts, but I feel like when you leave New York, you get a new life on the world. We look at Saquon, boom, all of a sudden, you're the greatest running back in the world, getting the most running yards, most touchdowns ever in a single season. Danny Dimes going out here, being the first man 2-0 in Indianapolis since 2009. Are you kidding me? This man is going to the Super Bowl. I love Danny Dimes. Indiana Jones. I love him. I love what's going on.
Love the nickname. You missed Sam Darnold. Went from New York to Minnesota, won the division, was nearly MVP last year, turned that into a $100 million contract. We'll see if that works out in Seattle. Indiana Jones has not punted. The Colts did not punt again. They refuse to not score on a drive. They're scoring 7 or 3 every time they have the ball. You look at their depth chart, it's like there's Jonathan Taylor, there's a rookie tight end. What's going on here? He makes it all work. And you're so right. It's like everyone succeeds outside New York. It's, again, the pressure, the big lights. Mike, I might succeed better when I leave New York.
Well, you're on the outskirts. You're in Connecticut.
I am.
I don't think that really counts. You're like where people go outside. They're like, we want to live outside
to
the
get
city.
Away from the city.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
But Indiana Jones, he's doing great. I love what's going on there. They're confident. The team was always a little good. Like last year, they were sneaky good. Even with
Thick Rich and Flacco was there. Yeah. They're better without Anthony Richardson. We said that in our offseason previews. And Danny Dimes was like sitting right there. It's like Danny Dimes was with the Vikings last year. He could be playing the next 4 weeks in place of J.J. McCarthy and saving the Vikings season. Instead, they said, no, we're good with J.J., which again is a questionable decision. And Danny Dimes did not get much money to go. Indiana Jones did not go not much money to get with the Colts. Right? And so I do really like it. I think that's going to catch on around the league. I don't know that the Colts are real, so I'm going to press pause on that one. I think the ghost of Jim Irsay is towering over them. I think he's sending good vibes from heaven, sprinkling some September winds. It's harder to sprinkle when the weather gets cold, so we'll see how this team migrates through the season.
I was on top of them ahead of time. Remember when I was talking to off-season, I was saying Jim Irsay's daughter on the sideline. Yeah. She's the owner of the team. She has a headset.
She's locked in.
She's taking notes.
I've seen that.
She's not
taking
fucking
notes.
Around. That's what I want from an owner.
Jim Irsay was fucking around.
He was, yeah. But guess what? His daughter, on the sidelines. She is locked in. This team is going in a new direction, and I like the direction. I'm loving what's happening there right now. But I will say this: Vegas and Indy, two of my favorite teams right now. Seattle, number 3. I'm not sold on Sam Darnold right now. Not sold
Are
on.
you not? You're wearing the Seahawks today. They
Yeah.
beat, let's talk about that. Big
Let's talk
Lou
about
had
it.
a big birthday yesterday, the
He
biggest
did.
Steeler fan that we know. And Mike took a little risky move and texted Big Lou during the Steelers game. That was the first risky move. The second risky move was inciting Aaron Rodgers' name because after the point of the text, Aaron Rodgers really didn't play too well. And so possibly a jinx by Mike here to Big Lou, our biggest fan. Aaron Rodgers didn't look good. The Steelers lose as a home favorite, which doesn't happen much in the Mike Tomlin era. And additionally, in Survivor, several people did have Steelers. I was on X Saturday night, and a lot of people were buzzing about a Steelers as a sexy pick. Go against it. You folks have been eliminated from Survivor. I'm going to have a hard time taking the Steelers, Mike, because mutual friend always tells us this. Tomlin loses the games he's supposed to win. So, like, when are you going to see a spot on the schedule you actually feel good about?
They might be a team I just stay away from, but I will say if Caleb Johnson actually recovered that ball and they did not get that defensive touchdown, which is the first of the season we've seen, these new rules are a little wonky. You got to learn these new rules because if
Mike,
it bounces,
he touched the ball as well. That's always been a rule.
Okay.
He did touch it, like hit his helmet and his head. The guy went like full rookie mode and completely brain farted there. I think even Scott Hansen called it a brain something on the guy. And he really just had a meltdown there in real time. It's hard to see when it's a rookie. You got to be like benched. You got to be like fined. You got to do something for like losing a game on a play that mental. Of course, they make physical mistakes, but when it's mental like that, that's unacceptable.
I do think that kind of like pushed the tone of the game a different direction because I think it would have been a lot closer if they didn't get that touchdown. Because in the end, what was the final score? 17-31. Like, I think it could have been like 20 something, 17. I don't know. It could have been closer. Seahawks won. I'm not sold on Sam Darnold. He is not looking hot out there. And I don't know if it's just because it's a new team, he's got to get comfortable, but not fully loving it yet. So
it's early. He's got a make-up game or a make-good game to go to 2-1 against the Saints this week. So maybe they will be okay. The Steelers, Mike, after week 1, I'm like, oh, was I wrong about the Steelers? They looked okay against the Jets. The offense looked good. Aaron Rodgers looked good. I think we're back to where J-Dawg was right. The Steelers looked bad. They looked incompetent. Aaron Rodgers was not getting around well. He was not finding his guys. One short touchdown to DK Metcalf. Not exciting on offense. No run game. The defense looks bad 2 weeks in a row. I think I was right about the Steelers being a bad team this year.
Are the Jets a bad team? Are we agreeing on that right now?
The Jets are going to go to Tampa and get knocked out this week. I'm going to have Tampa in my best bets, I think. That's a preview for you.
Before we get to our best bets, our records, our Survivor picks, do you want to talk Emmys at all? Do you want to talk a little Emmys? Did you watch it at all last night?
I watched, there was a nice window from 8 to 8:20 between Chiefs-Eagles game ends here on the East Coast. You got 20 minutes before Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy face off. Wish I missed the entire McCarthy-Penix game. That was a bad game to watch. I watched the 20 minutes of the Emmys. I watched the first bit where he comes out as the inventor of the television. I saw Seth Rogen win the Emmy. Not a great speech by Seth. He seemed maybe he was high or maybe unprepared for it. He didn't even thank Sal Saperstein or whatever the name is.
I know, they didn't do that. He won 4, 6, 7, like the whole thing. They won so many Emmys.
I'm glad the studio won so much. You must have watched more than me. What'd you think of the Emmys?
Yeah, I was kind of flipping back and forth. Aaron wanted to watch it. I like the gimmick of the children's Boys and Girls Club donation, so everybody like sped along. That made it a little fun. People were quicker to get through everything. I felt like no surprises. I tried watching The Pit. Have you ever seen The Pit at all?
I watched the entire series, actually.
Did you like it?
I did, yeah.
I
felt like a hospital medical drama. I always like that stuff.
Did it feel too real? It felt too real to me, and that's why I was like, I don't know if I really love watching like real medical stuff happening right before I go to bed.
But it wasn't real.
I know.
Because I've seen documentaries on like Lenox Hill Hospital on Netflix, and those things are way too real because they are real, and people are like dying and bleeding out.
Yeah, we don't want to.
So it wasn't like that. The Pit was really intense. I thought it was really well done. Lots of weird storylines in it. Noah was great. I'm glad the studio cleaned up. I think Seth Rogen made an incredible show.
They did at the end when they won the best comedy series.
They did.
Give a shout out to Tim Cook.
To Tim Cook.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like they did, because he's the executive.
Oh, that's right. He's the executive executive of Apple.
The studio's great.
It was at the Peacock Theater. Did you know that? It was right down the street from you.
Wow. Yes, Apple cleaned up too for all the awards. I feel like no one watches Apple TV either, and they got a whole bunch.
No one watches the Emmys either. We'll skip that number. It can't be good. Before we get to the best bets this week, just one more, maybe a stat of the week, if you will.
Give it
a
to
stat
me.
of the week. The Chiefs' offense looks old and slow, and it looks really hard to score. In Patrick Mahomes' first 5 seasons in the NFL, he had a QB rating of 100 and adjusted yards per attempt of 8 points, pace for the greatest quarterback career of all time. Since then, in the last 2 years and 2 games, his QB rating is down to 92. That's a 14-point drop. And his average yards per attempt is 6.8. That's 2 yards per attempt drop in the last 2.5 years. That is similar to the career average of Kyler Murray and your boy, Geno Smith. So the last 2 years and 2 games, Patrick Mahomes is playing a lot more like Geno Smith than Patrick Mahomes.
I think it's also his receivers. And also, after winning so many Super Bowls back to back to back, I feel like it does a lot to your body where you're just kind of like, how do you mentally get prepared for this when it's like Travis Kelce's on his last legs? I don't think he's like helping out the team too much, dropping balls.
He's hurting them 2 weeks in a row. Takes out Xavier Worthy week 1. He pops up a touchdown into an interception just for fun at the goal line. What was that? What's he doing out there?
I don't know. Also, this reminded me of a stat I saw about JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy's QBR rating was like 36.9 or something. And if you just snapped the ball and spiked it every time the entire game, it'd be 38.
That is a great stat. J.J. McCarthy has played 7 of the worst quarters you'll ever see of quarterback play. He just so happened that he had 1 good quarter on Monday Night Football to win a game and everyone was watching. He might be like historically bad except for that 1 comeback, which he'll always have at least.
He will always have that. What do you like? Explain the mindset of letting go Indiana Jones, Kirk Cousins, and then sticking with it. What did this rookie do to
and
the
Sam
office?
Darnold?
And
3
Sam Darnold.
guys, Mike, all for J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy is an assassin. He came into that quarterback room and took them all out. He sent them all other places. And now, look at the Falcons with Kirk Cousins. He's obviously not getting on the field unless Penix gets hurt. Shouldn't the Vikings make a call and just say, we fucked this up? Kirk, come home. Play the 4 games, see how it goes. If it's terrible,
home.
go back
Star
to
Trek.
JJ. Is that what they say?
I don't know, no, but it could work. It could work.
It could work. Maybe bring him back for the 4 games. If he sucks, okay, you have JJ. If he doesn't suck, ride him out because the roster's there. It's like quarterback's the only position they don't have.
JJ's not like fully hurt, but I do think Cincinnati's going to look for a quarterback, so we could see Kirk or Shador or somebody get pushed out over there to Cincinnati.
Shador doesn't want to play on certain teams. He doesn't want to play on the Ravens. He called the Ravens on draft day and said, I won't back up Lamar. Now he backs up Dylan Gabriel. So how'd that work?
Yeah, you got to just like take the job, like do what you can. Things happen. Look at Brock Purdy. Like he was literally like 4 people had to get injured before he started, and now he's making $100 million. So like,
I'm glad you're right. I'm glad you brought up Brock Purdy. The 49ers have a quarterback. If you watch that game, Mac Jones was in rhythm.
Mac Jones?
He was on time, and he's doing it without all the weapons. Purdy, remember, he only succeeds when he has Ayuk and Debo and Kittle. Mac Jones had none of those 3 players yesterday. Juwan Jennings is his number 1. No problem. I know it's the Saints, but they actually looked in control. Remember, Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones way back, and for some reason they went to Trey Lance instead, but it's supposed to be Mac Jones that whole time. This might finally be the Mac Jones era just 5 years after it was supposed to be.
It's kind of crazy how many quarterbacks have been moved around these last few years. I feel like there's been these high draft picks that have just been shuffled back and forth. Oh yeah, Mac Jones, like he's going over, he was in the Jags last year, right? And now he's over here in San Francisco. He looks a little out of shape. I don't know if you saw his t-shirt, his little jiggly up top.
I think he's always been a little jiggly. Maybe New England didn't like that either. We'll see. I believe in Mac Jones more than Purdy, of course.
Wow. So you would bet on them. I was worried about taking him last week, but we should have taken him, just gotten out of the way. But
yeah,
I
don't think you have to get out of the way. I think they're a better team now, so they're heading to the playoffs most likely. You have to swap out that Seahawks shirt for a Niners shirt at some point here.
At some point, yeah, we'll see. It could just be an Indiana Jones shirt or something. I gotta get one of those. We should make one.
Make those shirts
all right,
tonight.
let's talk. I got your record here. You survived Survivor last week. You went with Dallas, a very scary overtime game, which we found out. I thought overtime would be like you just get another week, you just continue on, but overtime means you lose in Survivor.
But if you tie.
Yeah.
Mutual friend texted that, and I was like, kind of upset me, but I was like, I couldn't think about it because I was watching the craziest game ever.
I don't know. Mutual friend called me during the Arizona game when they were about to lose, and I was like cooking dinner. I was like, had it behind me, and I didn't see the onside kick recovery. He called me. He's like, oh, yeah, they just got the onside kick. We're going to lose this. And he sounded so defeated. It's like the most stress he's going through. This is intense. Like, you almost want it to end sooner than later because when you have $1,000 on the line, it's scary every week. And you don't realize every game is up for a win. Any team could beat any team every week.
We've seen that in the first few weeks. It's like no big favorites have lost, but so many have been close in weeks
So
1 and
close.
week 2. The Saints, like I said, they almost knocked out both teams, 49ers and whoever they played week 1 too. I just think it's been a crazy amount of almost upsets. Last year, Mike, through the first 2 weeks of the year, I think like 40% of people in Circa Survivor were knocked out through 2 weeks. This year, through 2 weeks, it might be like 9 or 10% of people knocked out.
I don't even know if it's that high. It might be lower than that because it's a crazy amount. The top 5 teams all passed through this week. We're all good. And there's 4 teams playing tonight. So there's still plenty. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's true.
Yeah.
And there's so much stress, to your point, and you're only going to get the payout if you win. So it's like, why go through 13 weeks just to lose week 14 when like week 16 is the winner? That's what's so hard about this. I learned a lot every week. I want you to set up the week, and then I'm going to share. I've learned a few things each week.
So. Well, I'm just going to lay out. So I got my Survivor pick. We continued on. We took Arizona. Your betting record so far, if I'm correct, is 1-5, and mine is 4-1 and unknown because I still have the Raiders tonight beating the Chargers, so I could be 4-2 or 5-1.
I had the Jags plus 3.5 against the Bengals, which looked like the bet of the day for so long, and somehow the Bengals not only won but covered. That's insane. I thought the Titans would play better at home against the Rams. Cam Ward had a highlight. The Rams actually look good so far, and then the Cowboys was minus 4.5. They must have won by 4 in the end.
Yeah,
or by 3. By 3.
Cowboys, yeah, they only won by.
Yeah. So I was 0-3 last week. Not great. Gotta get back on the horse.
It's okay. You can just take money line bets too. But let's set up the week. So last week I had Indy money line. Indiana Jones, my boy, won. I have Raiders money line. We'll see.
I'm not sure.
And I had Kansas City money line, which lost. So that's my first loss of the year, which now I know better. Don't bet KC this year.
The Chiefs are done. I might bet them this week. As for Survivor, as we look ahead to this week, I just want to mention, in week 1, we learned about home field advantage, and we learned about the edge, where you get like a 6% bump if you bump up to the home field in Survivor versus another big favorite, but they just happen to be on the road. The second lesson I learned in week 2, Mike, is don't go back to the cookie jar. And this is a Russell Wilson rule. I won week 1 with the Commanders over Russell Wilson. It was stress-free. It was easy. You were sweating your Survivor bet last week. I think a lot of people were sweating again as the Saints almost came back, as all these teams almost came back. But it turns out that Russell Wilson got pissed off by being dominated in week 1. So just because you win a bet in Survivor and you read it correctly and you saw it all correct, doesn't mean you're going to line up 2 weeks in a row. So I learned not to go back to the cookie jar. I will not pick on the same quarterback 2 weeks in a row. And Russell Wilson, I won't pick on for several weeks at this point.
So in my projections here, there's 3 clear teams that both me and you have not played yet. I'm going to list them out. And then I was on this, I think I sent you this website, but it's called Survivor Atlas. And I really like it because it gives you stats and EV, so expected value, which I wanted to dig into a little more. And the lower the number the EV is, the more value you will hold within your ticket moving on. So it's not about surviving this week. It's about the value long-term on the ticket if you can win. So starting at the least value, you take Buffalo this week, which has an EV of 0.87. So Buffalo at Miami, which felt easy. But also
Buffalo. Thursday night, short week. It's so automatic.
It does feel like it, but it's like this is a game that's you survive. Now, I will say week 4, really, really hard. Week 4 is impossible.
We can talk about week 4. I've decided what's happening week 4.
Well, let's do week 3. Week 3, we got Green Bay at Cleveland. I felt like Green Bay, this one feels good. They're strong. They're a good team. Flacco looks like he's checked out. He's like, I should just be on my sofa watching this on Sunday. I should not be here.
But he didn't look like that week 1 against the Bengals when the Browns were winning most of the game and the Bengals came back and won by 1 point. And so I have a lot of caution with the Browns. They have a good defense. They shut down who they want to shut down. In week 1, it was Burrow and the receivers. In week 2, Derrick Henry had 2 fantasy points yesterday. They knew how to shut him down. And so can they shut down the Packers' passing offense in Cleveland, where it's a little easier to play defense, and make them run the ball, which they're not so good at doing? I'm thinking about the Packers. I don't love the Packers.
Okay. And so that EV is 3.28. So a little higher EV there. I don't know why, but I think the stats might have been off on this one. And then the Saints at Seahawks. I like the Seahawks at home. Rattler. in the dome there, loud, you can't hear anything. The Seahawks make the most sense, but I don't know long term. Does like Seahawks are a weird team, but I do like this rookie coming in. This feels easy. This feels like the pick. But I kept thinking about last week. There's like multiple strategies for Survivor. So when we're in the circa, there's already going to be a lot of sharps. There's always going to be these like smart people that want to pick. So you don't play extra sharp. You don't play like the Rams, even though we wanted to play the Rams last week and they still covered, they still won. You want to play like the bigger picks because you just want to survive because there's 18,000 people in that one. Now, the pool we're in, where you can buy 10 picks and it's like, what, $25 a pick or whatever. The pool's $5,000 to win. You want to be a little sharper because the odds of everybody surviving towards the end are less. So you want to be sharp going in and seeing like, hey, can I pick the team that will be least picked this week? So the max amount of people will get kicked out the following week. And you're basically saying, I need to survive to week 8 or 9, not week 18, because by the time week 11 comes around, there might only be 4 people left, and those 4 people would probably be happy to split $5,000 and just walk away from the contest. So that's how.
That's an interesting way to look at it, and I appreciate the breakdown. You're saying in our home contest, if you will, you might be more willing to take teams like the Bills this week, who are a surefire winner. In Circa, you don't want to use the Bills here. You don't want to use the Bills for a while. You want to make sure you have the Bills in your back pocket?
No, reverse it. You almost want to play less sharp in the big pools because there's so many people. So you almost want to play like a little safer because you actually want to survive.
But what about the idea of making these great teams, the Bills or the Lions coming up have some rough opponents? Those teams, you want to be able to use them late in the year, right? How much do you balance that with who you're picking week to week?
You do, but then there's also like the value of the team. So like Arizona had no real future value,
right?
Except for like the first 2 weeks.
And that's what I told you when deciding between the Cowboys and the Cardinals. I'm making 18 Survivor picks max this year. The Cardinals aren't a top 18 team for me. I'm not going to fuck with them in Survivor. I'm never taking them.
But our discussions go like anything can change week to week. And we saw it this week. JJ's out.
A lot of QBs.
Earl's going to be probably out for most of the season, and the team's going to be in shambles. So now there's like another
new the Bengals, right?
It should have taken them, yeah. But now there'll be a new team to either bet against or bet for, depending on how good they are. True. But yeah, I think there's like different ways of thinking about it. And I'm not a math guy, but a lot of math guys are very smart and they have so many different angles at this. And the value, it seems, to play in home pools are being you want to be sharper. You don't want to play the top 3 teams. You want to play that 4th team that only 10 people will be on, not 3,000 people will be on.
And hope for upsets along the way.
Which the bloodbath is coming.Ust me. One of us will be out by week 5, like 100%.
One of us?
One of us. One of us. Yeah.
One of us. Oh no. You mentioned the Seahawks playing the Saints. So I like the Seahawks as my Survivor pick this week. It's where I'm leaning the most right now. I probably won't use them the rest of the year. They might not be a team you care to use later in the year. The Saints are going on the road. Spencer Rattler's first road game. You said the crowd is amazing. You had a great 3-day weekend. Was it 3 days in Seattle? I know you love it there.
Yeah. Great weekend. Saw Steelers, Seahawks.
You did.
Great time.
You did. But Spencer Rattler, the only thing that gives me pause, I would hammer the Seahawks right now, but what gives me pause, Mike, is Spencer Rattler had the ball week 1 to beat whoever they were playing, and then week 2 to beat the 49ers. So he is almost beating teams right at the end. Could he do it again, pull Houdini out of the magic trick? So I'm worried about it, but I think I'll still take the Seahawks because it's such a good, juicy matchup, and I'm not going to take the Seahawks later on.
Yeah, I agree. Probably not going to take the Seahawks later. Now, yeah, we can talk about it next week. I don't want to list down the rest of my teams because I feel like there's going to be so many different people that you can go through here. But yeah, it's
there was one more I was thinking if we can talk about. We don't know how the Bucks played week 2. We recorded this right before kickoff on Monday. They probably won. I'm bullish on the Bucks this year. I would think about the Bucks against the Jets. It's in Tampa. Justin Fields' concussion. The issue I have, and it's this timing thing again. Tampa's going to land on Tuesday morning back in Florida and prepare for the game. The Jets have been preparing since yesterday.
Fields has a concussion?
He does have a concussion. We're not sure if he's playing. It might be Tyrod.
Tyrod's he's more capable of throwing the ball.
Better?
I think so. You know what I think? I think the Bucks tonight, I know we aren't watching the game. I think they struggle throwing offensively. I don't think they're great offensive line. Like, I just feel like the way they moved the first week, and I know Houston's not a great team either. So I just kind of want to see where they lay, but I would feel terrified to take Tampa, but that would be a great play if you won, because then you get Tampa off the board and then other people aren't going to play it. It's almost,
Mike,
yeah.
I think what we're seeing from Tampa, the way they went to Atlanta and won that game on the road in week 1, Tampa is a top 10 or 12 team in the league. You're going to want to use Tampa at some point this year. I'm not trying to use them early.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like everybody has access to all these Survivor Atlas and Survivor tracking tools. And I think it messes with your head looking at these games. And if you just look at the slate and you're like, oh, yeah, they will definitely beat them this week. Like,
Yeah.
part of me wanted to take the Raiders. I'm surprised I'm taking the Raiders again in my best bet because I'm hoping they win tonight.
Wait, you're going to take Raiders in Survivor?
No, like Raiders and week 3. Raiders are playing Commanders week 3. And
Yes.
if Raiders play well tonight and beat the
Yes.
Chargers, why wouldn't the Raiders be a top choice to go out and beat Washington when I don't think Washington can move the ball as well as what Raiders are doing? And I'm hoping I'm right with old Pete and Chip Kelly out there and Brock Bowers and Genty. I hope they can do what I think they're going to do tonight and beat the Chargers. From my perspective.
Didn't Jaden Daniels and the Commanders go to the NFC Championship game last year?
I
They're
do
that
not care.
good. They're that good of a team.
Do not
think they
care.
are.
Their team is old. I don't know if you saw that roster. It's like every elite guy that you wanted to play in fantasy 4 years ago is on that roster.
No way. They got younger. Austin Eckler's out. They're getting younger every week when these guys get hurt.
I don't know if Bill's the answer, but hopefully it is. But
Right
yeah,
now
we'll
it's
see.
Raiders plus 5.5 against the Commanders. Jaden Daniels is getting an MRI on his knee. He's got a sprained knee. He's questionable for that game. The Raiders bet might be looking better and better as you get closer.
Yeah, I already placed it. All right, so let's talk about let's do the road to 10K because we're talking road to 10K. Then we can do best bets. My road to 10K is looking great. We won $382 on the Buffalo bet last week. We are 382. We're looking good. Now we're still waiting for the Raiders to clear. If that clears, we will have another like 150 to play with, which I will probably pile just more on to this bet this week.
That's a Raiders money line bet you have tonight, late night.
Tonight. Yeah. So
You're not staying up for the end of that.
Probably not. Too late for us on the West Coast here.
It's going to end at 1:30 a.m. Eastern. What are we doing with football?
I don't know. So if they win tonight, I will have more money. If not, I have already placed on Kalishi. That's where I'm putting all the bets. So it's nice and clean, not on my offshore bank account, the sketchy one. I put 382 on Indy to beat Tennessee. And if they win, I will have $575, and that's without the Vegas money. And we'll roll it over. And I love Indiana Jones.
I know you do. Are you about to tell me that the Colts are in play for your Survivor pick also?
I didn't even think about that, but that could be a good bet.
My God, you made me scared as soon as I thought of it. The way you love the Colts so much, they're playing Tennessee. You almost took the Rams in Survivor last week at Tennessee. You would have had one of the most comfortable wins of the week. I'm scared for you, but you might take Indiana Jones in Survivor.
Yeah. Listen, we're not talking Survivor right now. We're doing the road to 10K, but I have all my money on it. And you know what's weird? I'm like numb to how much money I've built up and putting on these teams. $382 is not a normal size bet I'm usually doing on teams. It's like $10. So
this is how it gets scary when it gets numb to bet this money.
All right, let's talk best bets. You go with your best bets this week, and then I'll list mine off.
It's always early on Mondays, and so I'm always going to tell the folks, if you want to get my 0-3 to 1-2 picks, you're going to have to subscribe to Substack to get them there. You're going to send those out midweek. I can't give all those away on Monday. I need more time in the lab to get these wrong before I actually reveal them to the audience. A few games I do like. I mentioned one, Bucks. Right now it's -6.5 against the Jets. You actually scare me with Tyrod. They might actually be a better favorite if it's against Fields than Tyrod. We'll see how that shakes out this week. Mike, the Cowboys look so bad.
So bad.
Ben Johnson is not bad, but the Bears have looked so bad. I think the Cowboys have the worst coaching situation against the Bears. I'm going to take the Bears against the Cowboys, I think. +1.5 right now in Chicago next week. Chicago road, or a home favorite rather, against the Cowboys.
Jeremy, you have the whole slate of teams to pick from. You do not have to bet this game. You don't have to do it.
I'm fading the Cowboys. It's like I'm not putting my hand in the cookie jar. I learned what Russell Wilson did. I'm saying I can't trust the Cowboys anymore. I'm going to go the opposite way and bet on the Bears in that game. They can't go 0-3 at home. The Cowboys look so bad, Mike. I think it's possible.
Jeremy, you could just bet against your team. You could just take Buffalo, do an alternate line or something, or, Buffalo by 30. Against Miami.
I mean, I'm trying to bet the lines. I'm not trying to do teasers for the people. I'm trying to give
you
them,
do teasers.
Real stuff.
I was doing some alt lines. I might throw another alt line in on the Raiders tonight. Just do an alt line. Your odds get so high, and it's so fun if you think the game is gonna go a different way than you expect. Like, people expect Chargers to dominate Raiders tonight. I hope I'm right about my take because it'll look really bad when you're listening to this on Tuesday morning, and Raiders just looked like
I mean,
shit.
last time we saw Justin Herbert, he was Joe Montana. Geno Smith has never been compared to Joe Montana.
But we also saw them play against a team that we now know is 0-2 and terrible.
True.
In
Through
Brazil.
1.5 weeks, you can take storylines however you want them.
take 'em wherever
Either
I
side
want.
of it. We both can. It's great. One more game.
Yeah.
I'm not final on this. I might get off it. But Russell Wilson gave me so much joy in week 1 and so much pain in week 2. I want to go back to the joy, and I want to take the Chiefs at the Giants, but I'm really scared to do it. Right now, the Chiefs are getting 5.5. If that line comes down to like 3, if it comes down to 3, Mike, I'm going to be watching that one. I'm watching it.
All right. Okay, that's fun.
Mike doesn't like what I'm doing right over here.
I'm just staying away from point spreads this year. I feel like I can lock in much more on just a win.
I mean, I guess I can do Bucks money line, but they're -6.5, so that's no fun for the people.
It is no fun, but you could parlay it, so I'll tell you what I did this week. I did a little fun round robin. All the teams get bet once, and then there's a 2-pack of them, 2 different versions. So basically all 3 teams that I picked will be bet in a parlay. We'll be bet in 2 pairs, 3, all these different ways to win
Okay.
a lot of money.
So you've landed on your 3 picks for the week.
Yes, I did.
This
I
is
landed.
exclusive on the pod.
I went in the lab early and I said,
Okay.
all the games are fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm in love with Indiana Jones. I know where I want to go with this.
Colts over Titans, got one.
So we definitely have the Colts over Titans.
All right.
Just taking the money line. You can play money line, round robin, parlay.
What's that line
whatever.
right now? 2.5 or 3, probably?
I don't even know. I didn't even
I
look
think
at the
it's
line.
2 to 3. We'll call it 2 to 3.
I can look at I screenshot everything right here real quick. Tennessee, it's 3.5.
Yep, that's about right.
I will be taking the Raiders money line. I did already bet this. I do not know what's going on this week, but I have no faith in what the Washington Commanders are doing. If Jaden Daniels is actually injured, I would say bet this immediately. I got plus 210 on it. Yes, Jeremy?
It's down. The line is down to -3.5 for the Commanders. It was 5.5 a few days ago, maybe yesterday. So now's the time. If you want the Raiders, get it now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before Jaden Daniels becomes probable for the weekend.
But also, you don't know what Raiders are doing tonight. So I think that's like the mysterious part of it.
It is mysterious.
Yes.
It's tough. Hey, we got to
And then I'm
publish
also
the podcast.
I'm doing the Bills money line. Easy bet, but that's why I wanted to put them in I wanted to put them in a parlay.
It's -550.
That was a much better line than I got on my offshore account. They gave me a -847 on that one.
Oh my God. Right now the line is 12.5. It might move to like 14 or so.
So I'm
the
doing
Dolphins are terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm doing a round robin. You can do any sort of this. I'm hoping all 3 hit. I'm doing a round robin. So there's 3 straight bets of $10. There's 3 parlays of 2 teams, all $10 each, and 1 parlay of 3 teams. $70 wins you $143. If everything goes correct. If not, the great thing about a round robin, you still win if 2 out of the 3 win, which is great.
I love the round robin philosophy. You're not going to go down a loser this week. You're going to win at least 2 of the 3, at least.
Well, my official bet will be a parlay. I don't want to put the round robin in there because I think it's harder to track. But guess what? If all 3 hit, my round robin hits anyways. And also money line each bet.
Mike, you may have talked me into getting my record better. I might go Bills money line and just join you on that one.
We're here, line. Jeremy. We're here for the record.
Seahawks money line.
We're not here for the. But if you're betting Bills, Seahawks, Raiders, and Indy money line parlay, you're winning some money.
You're not making much. You're not making much.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if you had the Raiders too, you're winning. Yeah,
you're winning. That's all that matters. Winning record.
It's true. I was 0-3 in my best bets last week. I got to get back to it, Mike. I got to figure that out.
It's early in the week. It's harder. But I do think sometimes when you have not a lot of input from the outside and you focus in on what you saw over the weekend, a little easier to get some bets in because then you don't.
I saw some crazy shit, though. It's hard to make sense of some of the stuff I saw.
I know. That's why you just got to
Russell
figure it out.
Wilson looks so good. What year is this? What did I watch?
You got to go to the lab, Jeremy. Go to the lab. If you get something new, we'll pop it in the Wednesday bets and everybody can see it. But if you listen this long into the podcast, 45 minutes in, you got some free bets.
You're leaning toward the Seahawks for Survivor. Are you going to stick with your shirt for Survivor this week?
I got to convince my ranking of Survivor picks this week are Seahawks, Buffalo, Green Bay in that order. I will pitch it to mutual friend tomorrow, midday. We have a midday call. We talk too much during the week. We talk 4 times a week. Too much. And it's like 45-minute calls.
The arguments right now? Is everyone happy with where you're landing? Is one side getting their share?
Well, I think it's tough because no one's lost yet. So it's still like we're any team we've all thrown out,
yet.
all of them have won. So no one's like,
it's no fun.
You can't say, well, you lost last week.
At least he didn't put you on the Steelers against the Seahawks last week. He knows better. He doesn't bet on time.
Well, I wanted to take the Seahawks in our pick'em pool. We also have a pick'em pool we're doing, but he refused. You know.
There's a lot. I would be really sad if we both take the Seahawks and we lose. You mentioned the Bills are number 2 on the list. The Bills are much more likely to beat the Dolphins than the Seahawks are to beat the Saints. You just don't want to blow the Bills early, maybe save them.
I'm just saying that this week is the coming weeks are hard and I'm scared. And I kind of want to save Buffalo for week 4 because it seems like the only game. I don't even know who they're playing, but on my spreadsheet here.
They're playing the Saints as well. And Mike, I already put that in my vote. My brother's getting married that weekend. So I'm like, I'm checking out. I'm not watching football. I'm going to set it and forget it. Take me to week 5 with the Bills in week 4.
Week 5, I have Chargers lined up.
I haven't gone that far. We'll see.
I've gone all the way to week 10.
They will change, sir. They will change.
They will. All right. By the way, shout out to our new subscriber. Give us a shout out on our Substack. Subscribe to us. Help us out. Support the show. Just all you got to do is monthly. You could do a founder edition. We have all these editions for the Substack.
Nice.
People are liking it. Join the show. You get the bets. Now, a lot of people last week only got to see a little bit of the bets. We're going to hide some more this week. You got to pay to see them all, right? Unless you listen to the show for free.
That's the point.
That's the point.
Well, they didn't get everything on the show. There's still some things, some hidden gems you're going to give out on the Substack. Yes. Pay for it, get our emails, and be rewarded. Make money like we are.
Yeah, I'm up. I'm doing good this year.
I'm up, Mike. I'm up.
That's good. It's great. All right, good show. See you.